welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you are new around here, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe. We're smashing out subs. Just got over 3,400, which is incredible considering that we were just over 2,000 from memory when we started the off-season. So thank you for that. And if you do want to be in with a chance in our draw 4th of March to win a sports Guernsey of your choice, you have to be a member for that. The link is in the description to become a member. On Android, it should be where the subscribe button is. It should now say join. So if you want to do that, members only live stream. Tomorrow night, Thursday, 8:30, the return of the lives. Me and Faz will be back talking all things pre-season content. We'll be doing our pre-season predictions, looking at some of the pre-season practice games and some things to look out for. So come and look at that. We can't wait to welcome you. And we're looking at the Port Adelaide side. So shout out to new friend of the channel, the pair. What a legend he is. I had a lot of fun doing the pre-season Port video with the pair. So let's hope he likes this content. But the full back line, we've gone with Tom Jonas, Clory and Burn Jones, and got a new little graphic there. Hope you like it. It's taken an age to make that, but we've got here, I think, a real solid backline. And Port, I'm quite hot on Port this year. I do think 2 teams will drop out of the 8. We know we did the video on statistics and how many people make the 8 each year. It oscillates around that. I think it was 2.28 over the last 20 years or something, have dropped out of the 8. So Port are one of these teams that I think will be tightly contesting the 8. And I think this backline here may be a little bit taller than the average bear on paper, on mine. But I actually think when you look at how it operates, as a Carlton fan, we often think it's undersized. And I think when you go into it with that and you look at how they play and how they operate, it's so incredible the way that they transition so fast. We talked about their diagonal kicks. Them and Adelaide are very familiar. It might be a South Australian thing, but they are so supreme at getting out of the back. And these 3 here are real key things. Darcy Byrne-Jones, I felt, was a bit down on his output last year. I expect to see him return to top form. But Darcy Byrne-Jones, in his own right, is an incredible footballer and someone that I've got a lot of time for. And I think he really does suit that bill of that modern-day, marauding little player that can really change the game from defence and attack. Half-back line, I think, is where the magic happens. And Aliir, for me, is so incredibly strong, so incredibly quick, and so incredibly cunning the way he plays. An incredible danger. And you see that Jonas and Clory often rotate to this centre half-back spot to allow him to come deep from the pockets to intercept. Burton and Houston, absolutely love Dan Houston. Again, another threat. And you often see, you know, him and Byrne-Jones link up to get them out of that half-back line. There's a lot of running here. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of ability to break lines, but also decent defence as well, which kind of doesn't go hand in hand when we talk about rebounding, but very strong and very hard to beat. And I think they match up well because I think Port, while they may not be on paper the tallest, I think what they do really well is that they understand today's game. And today's game isn't that oversized forward line as it used to be. There is a lot of crafty players, and I think they handle that crafty type player. So I really like that back line, and that back 6 for me is fairly strong. We go into the midfield then, where the magic happens, and we've got Bergman and Farrell on the wings. I think Farrell is one of them players that is just so underrated that he always puts out, always gives you something. And Ollie Wines, the Brownlow medalist from 2 years ago, very similar to Cripps in the terms of his turnaround, I think, in his Brownlow year. A lot of people saying he was slow and all this nonsense. He went back to doing what he does best. I think he's a real important part of this engine room. And I really like Bergman and Farrell working off him. I think you'll see a lot of rotation there. I won't be surprised to see Houston get some minutes in there as well and really look to do it. But I think as wingers in themselves, I think you've got really hard-working two-way running from both of them. And I really do like Bergman. I think he's really moulding into the role and someone that I think will be there for a long time. We've got Butters, Marshall and Horne-Francis. I think Horne-Francis will start half forward. I think it's where his best footy is as well. I think they're going to heavily rotate, and this is what we know Port do. They heavily rotate them through here. We know Boak will come here through half forward. You know, Dersma will, Butters even. While they do that, they keep them fresh, and I think that's what makes Port a threat. If you look at the players in this 22 that can play on the ball for stints, it's really dynamic. It's really going to be hard. They're going to have matchups for everyone, but also ways to penetrate holes in your defence. I really like Marshall. I think he's really grown into the role, and it's going to be interesting what they do when Dixon goes, but I think Marshall has shown enough so far to give the Port faithful something to smile about. I really like how he goes about it. I like how he operates in the air. Zach Butters, honestly, what a player. He brings that real controlled, ruthless aggression, which I think is incredibly important in today's game. He's very creative in what he does. And Horn Francis, I know this channel isn't a Horn Francis fan club, right? He is a good footballer, though. He is. I just think I take liberty when someone's built up to be very hyped, and I don't think he is. But I'm looking forward to seeing him at Port. He's got the move he wants. He's got the stability now. He's got the environment where I expect him to shine. For me, it's added them other layers. Like you say, he isn't going to be that bull and ox you saw in juniors because it's impossible. Probably for the next year. So I want to see these other dynamic areas, and that's where I love Nick Dacos. He's got really that penetration, that attacking prowess. I think Jason Horne-Francis is playing for the right team where he can demonstrate it now. He's got everything on his side. So I expect big things from him, and he's going to be definitely someone that I sneak into my fantasy because I think he will do it. Forward line, full forward, we've got Pal Pepper. We know he's been kind of reused now as a forward, a lot more forward of the ball. I think he gives them that defense and gives them a little bit of a break. At times, I felt Port were very easy to catch on the counter, and I think that's something that needs to be addressed by Hinckley. Dixon, it's a no-brainer, isn't it, really? You know what I mean? He's the best forward they've got. Time is going against him, but like his mate Travis spoke, these guys just seem to be around for ages and stay relatively fit and in shape. And you could argue Charlie Dixon, when he's playing, is playing just as good as he did back 5 years ago. So, and then Mitch Giorgis, I love this kid, absolute jet. Audi Charlie Curnow, I call him. He's got that Charlie Curnow effort and his mobility. Not going as far to say he's as good as my boy Charlie Curnow, but he is the type of forward that I enjoy watching, is what I'm trying to say. I really do enjoy him, and I think that's a really tasty forward line. I think that's got a lot there that can go right, and I'm surprised people aren't more bullish, and I don't know if that's because of Kane Corns, it could be, but I'm actually quite bullish on these guys, and I'm a big fan of what Port have brought to the table. The followers then, and I think this is a tasty follower. You got Scott Lysett, and I'm a fan. I think Scott Lysett breaks the mold that you don't need an out-and-out ruckman in today's game, and I'm a big believer in that as well. I think the ruck role has been redeveloped, and we're starting to see less your Darcy types, your Mumford types, and more of these real dynamic ruckmen who can play forward, and I think it's a really good move for him, and he came under a bit of pressure last year, but I think when you've got the right on-ball setting around him, I think he'll flourish. So I like him, and there's a few guys in the reses as well, do you know what I mean, that I think you've got to keep an eye on as well for that one. You've got Travis Boak and Connor Rosie. Boak, tell you what, he just seems to keep on going, doesn't he? And I fear this might be his last year, not for fitness or want to try him, but there's got to be a point where he wants to give it up and go into coaching, which I think he'll absolutely flourish at. Model professional and someone that, you know, he's one of them people, when people ask me, name 3 players that you'd take from other clubs, Boak is always in there, even at his age. I just think the way he goes about everything is total class. Total class. And what a model professional. What a model professional. And Connor Rosie, I really expect this year, he was in my top 10 this year, players to watch out for. I think he'll fly this year. And I know there's a bit of rivalry being a Blue because of the Sam Walsh hype. 2 terrific footballers and 2 footballers that I'm incredibly honoured to be around to see both go at it, because I think they'll both be phenomenal. And then we look at the interchange. I've gone with Jeremy Finlayson. Really redeveloped himself as that little bit of a pinch-hitting ruck and the way forward. I think they've got a lot of rotations there which allow it if they want to go that 3-tall method as well, you know, in-game as well. And I think I really like this. It's an awkward matchup when that rucks go forward, particularly someone like Lysett. You see he takes a lot of uncanny marks inside 50. So I really like that combination. Xavier Dersma, best celebration in AFL, without a doubt. I love Dersma there. Real interesting to see that dynamic between Xavier, Zach, and Connor. I really like them trio, and I'm really excited about seeing them trio develop in the AFL. Lachlan Jones, I've got a feeling that he might play a little bit higher up. Riley Bonner, probably stiff not to be in this 22. I just think that the Riley Bonner probably goes out for my penchant for youth. So I'm happy to be wrong, but I really like Lachlan Jones. A real tough cookie, isn't he? Played a bit higher up the ground last year. That halfback role is ready made for him. And then Junior Rioli, I'm really excited about seeing this. I love Junior Rioli, and me and Per kind of disagreed on this one. But I thought it was a great deal, great signing, a great acquisition. I think his ceiling is not even been close to yet. I think he could be a terrific footballer, and I think he could be what Motlop hoped to be for these guys. So I'm really excited about seeing a bit of Junior. I really do like the kid. And then we're going to look at the ones to watch. We don't do a 23rd here. Probably would be Riley Bonner, though, if you're going to push me. Jace Burgoyne is someone that I'm really keeping an eye out. The reports in pre-season has been really, really good. He's been really hot. He's developed nicely. Seen a bit of him at the Sandford level, and I like what I see. And, you know, when you've got that kind of surname, you expect something good, don't you? And I think he's going to be someone that will break into this 22 by the end of the year, and I think will be a very, very good footballer. Piscini, I think there's a lot of options for a bloke like Piscini. And I'm really excited about seeing where it leads. There's definitely opportunity there, and you look at where he's going to be playing for them. I think he's, I wouldn't say a walk-up start for them, but I think he will get to the stage where he'll 100% be in the mix, probably by the bye. I really like him. That 192 defender, he is on the rookie list at the moment from memory, but I think, just got a feeling that I like these young kids who are rookies who have been there for a couple of years, and I think he's just going to break in. Tom Scully, friend of the channel. Tom was one of my favourite draftees. Probably a little bit of a selfishness here, but from watching him when he was a kid last year, he really did impress me. A beautiful kicking technique. Massive Port fan as well, and I'm really excited. And he'll be looking at that Dixon situation. And will he play year one? Maybe. I could see him playing in that third, like Mitch Giordaldis has been doing. So I'm really excited about that. And Josh Sin, I finish off this video with. I love a bit of Sinners. I think he's got something about him, hasn't he? He has really got something about him. Developed a little bit last year. Probably didn't get the game time he probably wanted. But 20 years old, former Sandy Dragons boy. I think he'll easily add to the one game. And he can play all across the midfield, all across the forward line. Even played a bit of back for Sandy. So I think there's a great opportunity for him there. Good user. And he's got that ability. He's got that ability. But that is my Port Adelaide team. Let me know, you Port fans. Be nice. Be nice. Always have a raucous fan base. But let me know what you think about 22. Any changes you would make. If you're not a Port fan, let me know where you think they finish. Do you think they're going to plummet? Or do you think they're going to go well? But until next time, stay safe. Much love. Pom out.